Picture this: a 50-year-old skidder, paint faded, rust creeping along the frame, fires up on the first crank and drags a 30-foot log out of the bush like it's still 1975. While modern machines die after 15,000 hours, these forgotten beasts have clocked 17,000, 20,000, even 30,000 hours and refuse to quit. Built before computers, before emissions rules, before plastic, these iron dinosaurs are still earning paychecks in real logging camps right now. Here are 10 of them, still working today. Number 10. The John Deere 440B Cable Skidder. We're starting our countdown with a machine that loggers across North America still swear by: the John Deere 440B Cable Skidder. John Deere's skidder story began in 1965 with the original 440, which packed only 59 horsepower from a 4-cylinder John Deere diesel engine. The 440B arrived in 1970 and stayed in production until 1976, bumping power up to 75.5 horsepower at the flywheel. What makes the 440B so legendary is its mechanical simplicity. There are no computers, no electronics, no emission sensors. Just a 4-cylinder John Deere diesel, an articulated frame with power steering, an oscillating front axle, and a synchro-range transmission. The bare drumline pull was 17,300 pounds, and the line speed reached 159 feet per minute. Operators got an integrated blade, winch, arch, canopy, and log bumper, plus a deluxe seat that was revolutionary for the early 1970s. The 440B's smaller cousin, the 440A, came out the same year with similar specs, and together these little yellow skidders practically created the small operation logging market. Today, loggers love them because parts are still widely available. Many components interchange with John Deere farm tractors, and they're cheap to fix. Run a search through any forestry trader website, and you'll find 440Bs from 1972, 1973, and 1974 still listed for active service, often with rebuilt drives and fresh paint, going for around $15,000 to $25,000. The 440B is a perfect first skidder for small loggers, and it just refuses to die. Number 9. The Stihl 070 Chainsaw. Coming in at number 9 isn't a skidder but a chainsaw, so legendary that 1970s loggers still bring them to the woods today. The Stihl 070. Produced from 1968 to 1977 in West Germany, the Stihl 070 was the heavyweight workhorse of professional logging during the 1970s. The 070 belongs to Stihl's 1106 series and is closely related to its bigger brother, the 090. The powerhead alone weighs over 25 pounds, and these saws are capable of running massive bars up to 50 inches or more, making them perfect for falling old-growth timber. What's remarkable is that Stihl still produces the 070 today, not for the European or North American markets where emissions rules killed them off, but specifically for the Philippines, South Africa, and South American markets where loggers still demand them. Owners describe these saws as nearly indestructible. The cylinder is cast aluminum with a chrome-plated bore. The construction is die-cast magnesium, and there are essentially no electronics to fail. Today, the 070 has found a second life with chainsaw millers, who use them with long bars to slab giant logs into lumber on portable mills. With most parts still readily available, an original 070 from 1972 or 1975 can be rebuilt and put right back to work cutting wood. As one collector famously put it, there isn't a man alive in modern society who could wear out a genuine Stihl 070 or 090. Number 8. The Bombardier Muskeg Tractor. At number 8, we have a tracked vehicle so versatile. It served in the Trans-Antarctic Expedition, hauled equipment across the Sahara Desert, and worked Canadian and Scottish forests for decades. The Bombardier Muskeg Tractor. Launched in 1953 by Joseph Armand Bombardier in Valcourt, Quebec. The Muskeg was named after the Native American word for bog. Bombardier himself considered it his greatest industrial achievement. The Muskeg was a fully tracked rubber-belted vehicle with low ground pressure that could move easily across snow, swamp, mud, or sand where conventional machines would sink. In the 1970s, forestry contractors in Canada, the UK, and Scandinavia used muskegs as material carriers, hauling tree saplings, fertilizer, fencing, and fuel into remote planting sites. The 1972 J8 muskeg used a Caterpillar diesel engine and could be equipped with rear winches, blades, 300-gallon liquid tanks, and pump systems for firefighting. Later 1970s and 1980s models used GM 250 engines, automatic transmissions, and clock drivetrains. Crucially, the muskeg's rubber track system was the research foundation that led directly to Bombardier inventing the modern snowmobile. Today, 1970s muskegs are still sold on the used market for forestry firefighting, utility work, and wetland operations. Many have been converted to carry digger derricks, fire pumps, or surveying equipment. Their unique low ground pressure design means they can still go places nothing else can. Number 7. The Caterpillar 518 Cable Skidder. At number 7 sits a machine that loggers in the Pacific Northwest still reverently call the Cadillac of cable skidders. The Caterpillar 518. The Cat 518 was introduced in 1971 in the United States, with Canadian production beginning in 1973 at Cat's plant, where Canadian-built units carried the 94U serial prefix. American units used 50S or 55U prefixes. The 518 was powered by a 4-cylinder Caterpillar D330 or later 3304 turbocharged engine, producing 120 flywheel horsepower, a serious step up from competing skidders of the same era. What made the 518 special was the comprehensive package Caterpillar built around the engine. Every American 518 came standard with a powershift transmission, electric start, full rollover protection structure, and a Gearmatic 119 winch. The 55U variant added front-wheel caliper disc brakes. Canadian production units featured articulated steering, while the American units used a different configuration. The 518 was famous for tough Caterpillar build quality, and Pacific Northwest loggers report seeing these machines still working in heavy production decades later. Caterpillar followed with the larger 528 grapple skidder, but the 518 remained the favorite for smaller operations and steep groundwork. Today, 1973, 1975, and 1977 Cat 518s are still listed for sale by loggers in working condition. They're the rare 1970 skidder that holds significant resale value because the build quality is so respected. Number 6. The Tree Farmer C5D. At number 6 is a skidder that became the workhorse of the 1970s Canadian and American small logger market. The Tree Farmer C5D, built by Canadian Car Company, also known as Cancar. The Tree Farmer line started life with Garrett Enterprises, the company widely credited with popularizing the rubber-tired log skidder. Garrett's machines were the first compact, lightweight skidders that small operators could afford. The line was eventually taken over by Canadian Car, and by the early 1970s, the Tree Farmer brand had switched from its original orange paint to lime green starting in 1974. The C5D became the most popular Tree Farmer model in the late 1970s and early 1980s. The C5D is powered by a Dodge F5 L9 12 5-cylinder air-cooled diesel engine. It uses a new Process 4590 transmission, Cota 1610 transfer case, and Rockwell axles. The winch is typically a Cancar 20 with very strong holding power. What's remarkable about the C5D is its old-school simplicity. There are 6 operating levers, 3-foot pedals, and almost all the parts can be cross-referenced to standard truck and tractor components. Napa, salvage yards, and specialty shops like Daveco Mario in Maine can supply parts for nearly anything. The C5D's fuel economy is shocking by modern standards, with operators reporting astonishingly low diesel burn. Tree Farmer C5Ds from 1974, 1976, and 1978 are routinely listed for sale in working order today, often with fresh tires and rebuilt winches, ready to go back to the woods for another decade. Number 5. The Timberjack 240. At number 5 is the machine that defined an entire generation of small skidding operations, the Timberjack 240. Timberjack was founded in Woodstock, Ontario in the 1950s by Wes McGill and Robert Simmons, who designed an articulated 4-wheel drive tractor with a winch at the back. Timberjack was owned by the Eaton Corporation in the 1960s, 1970s, and early 1980s. The 240 became the bread-and-butter Timberjack of the decade, and the company's traditional reddish-orange paint scheme made these machines instantly recognizable in any woodlot. A 1977 Timberjack 240 cable skidder typically came with a Detroit diesel 453 engine, the iconic two-stroke V4 that 1970s loggers called the Screaming Jimmy because of its piercing exhaust note. The transmission was a manual 4-speed with high-low range and an Eaton rear end, paired with a Hercules winch. Tires were typically 23.1 by 26 with optional 18.4 by 34 sets for narrower work. Timberjack 240s have an almost cult-like following today. They were eventually bought by John Deere, with the product line discontinued in 2006. But the green with black and yellow trim Timberjacks introduced in 1992 still carry obvious traces of Timberjack DNA into modern Deere skidders. Forum posts from working loggers describe rebuilding 240s with new pumps, fresh exhausts, and reconditioned winches for total investments around $44,000, then running them trouble-free for years. The 1973 Timberjack 230D with the smaller Detroit 353 engine is another 1970s model still actively working today. Number 4. The Clark Ranger 666. At number 4 sits a skidder that 1970s loggers called the Cadillac of cable skidders for its operator-friendly power shift transmission and one-lever controls. The Clark Ranger 666. Clark's Ranger line emerged in the late 1960s and dominated through the 1970s, with the 664, 665, and 666 models leading the pack. The 1974 Clark Ranger 666B and the 1978 666C both featured the Detroit diesel engine, 4-cylinder configurations, and Clark's signature power shift transmission. Working loggers from the era describe how the Clark Rangers were just plain easier to operate than the Tree Farmer or Timberjack competitors, with one lever controlling steering and the blade. The 666 series rolled on 24.5 by 32 tires, used Clark's own winch, and offered torque converter drives that took the harshness out of yanking heavy turns. After Clark eventually exited skidder production, the brand transitioned through VME, then Valmet, then Allied Systems. The Ranger brand outlived several owners. What's amazing is how many Clark Ranger 666s from the 1970s are still working. A 1978 Clark Ranger 666C cable skidder with Detroit engine, new rebuilt torque converter, new brakes, and fresh paint regularly sells for working use. The 1985 Ranger 664D and similar successors trace direct lineage back to the 1970s 666. Clark Rangers are favored by loggers who want a no-nonsense, powerful machine without the price tag of modern Tier 4 equipment. Number 3. The K-Ring Shortwood Harvesters. Climbing to number 3, we have a machine so groundbreaking it helped invent mechanized logging as we know it. The K-Ring Shortwood Harvester from the early 1970s. In the late 1960s, an engineer named Irv Drott pioneered the first practical track-type feller buncher, and that innovation reshaped logging forever. K-Ring Waterous, based in Brantford, Ontario, became one of the early manufacturers building mechanized harvesting machines. According to a verified TigerCat case study, James Tompkins of Highland Pulp in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, confirms that his father, Donald Tompkins, purchased a K-Ring Shortwood harvester in 1970, and Highland Pulp ran it until 1989. That's 19 years of working life from a single machine. The K-Ring Shortwood harvester could grab a tree, sever it, delimit, and cut it to length, all from one operator station. This was revolutionary in 1970, when most logging was still done with chainsaws and skidders. K-Ring engineer John Kurelek later went on to design the first practical disc saw head for feller bunchers, while still at K-Ring Waterous, and that disc saw concept transformed the industry. Many members of the original TigerCat team came from K-Ring Waterous after Timberjack acquired the company in 1988. The K-Ring Shortwood harvester of 1970 didn't just work for nearly 2 decades in Highland Pulp's hands. It laid the foundation for every modern harvester operating today. Its DNA lives on in the TigerCat 845 series harvesters still rolling out of Brantford. Number 2. The Mini Brunette Forwarder At number 2 is the machine that invented the modern forwarder as we know it today. The Mini Brunette, unveiled in 1978 in Sweden. Lars Brun is widely regarded as the father of the modern forwarder. Born in 1934, Brun developed Sweden's first forwarder, the Brunette, while working at Värmlands Skogsarbetsstudier in the 1960s. The original Brunette was built on a Volvo BM350 tractor with a 41 kilowatt engine, a Hiab 177 hydraulic grapple loader, and an articulated steering system between two chassis sections. In 1978, Brun unveiled what would become his masterpiece, the Mini Brunette. It was the first modern 8-wheeled forwarder with a roof-mounted crane. The machine was extraordinarily light, capable of distributing weight evenly across 8 wheels for minimal ground pressure, which let it work in soft and peaty conditions that destroyed conventional logging machines. The Mini Brunette 678 model sold under the OSA brand and became the template for every modern forwarder built since. Forestry workers from the 1970s and 1980s have vivid memories of the Mini Brunette. A British forestry contractor recalls that the Brunette could cross ditches with a full load and pull a Mini Brunette through Glenoak Forest in Scotland. The first machine the UK Forestry Commission purchased was a Brunette. Today, the Mini Brunette 678 is still used by small contractors in the UK and Scandinavia. Lars Brun himself worked on new forwarder designs up until his death on December 3, 2021, at age 87. His Mini Brunette legacy lives on in every John Deere, Komatsu, and Ponce forwarder rolling out of factories today. Number 1. The FMC tracked Skidder. And at number 1, we have a forgotten 1970s forestry machine, so unique, so capable, and so well built that loggers, miners, and even firefighters are still using it in 2025. The FMC tracked Skidder. FMC stands for Food Machinery Corporation, and their tracked Skidder was based on a military tracked carrier design. The military carrier became one of the most successful tracked vehicles ever built, with over 80,000 units sold to more than 50 countries worldwide. FMC adapted that military platform into a forestry skidder starting in the early 1970s, and approximately 1,100 FMC tracked skidders were built before FMC sold the rights to KMC, based in Nelson, British Columbia, around 1988. Throughout the 1970s and early 1980s, FMC skidders quickly dominated the Pacific Northwest logging scene because of their unmatched speed, agility, and incredible flotation on soft ground. Hundreds of these machines were sold into Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia logging operations. Where wheeled skidders bogged down, the FMC just kept going. One verified report describes loggers running brand new FMCs on the Mount St. Helens mudflow in the summer of 1980, retrieving logs washed down the Cowlitz River. The FMCs were the only machines capable of operating on the fresh volcanic ash and mudflow while still managing to pull in massive old-growth logs. What makes the FMC so remarkable is its versatility. The tracked carrier platform underneath it could be configured for diamond drilling, augering, pipeline welding, off-road manlifts for power utilities, and dump trucks. The FMC Model 210CA, studied by Oregon State University researchers in the 1970s, featured a torsion bar suspension system, pivotable arch, heavy-duty winch, and front blade. The torsion bar suspension reduced shock loads to both the vehicle and operator, while the tracks molded to uneven terrain to maintain continuous ground contact and traction. When FMC sold the rights to KMC, KMC continued production from Nelson, British Columbia, and that company is still around today. Many of the original 1970s FMC tracked skidders have been converted into forestry firefighting machines, equipped with water tanks, pumps, and hoses for wildfire response. Even after 50 years, the FMC tracked skidder is still the machine of choice when no other piece of equipment can do the job. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more deep dives into vintage heavy equipment and forgotten machines, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Until then, keep those engines running.